In this video, I'll be breaking down how we use retargeting ads to pre-sell and pre-qualify all of our ceramic coating leads. Meaning, when we generate leads, all those leads who typically don't respond, don't answer the phone, never get booked in for our service, instead of letting those leads go and never having them re-engage, what we do is we put 70% of our ad budget into retargeting ads that are meant to nurture those leads, pre-sell those leads, and pre-qualify those leads to re-spark that conversation. What we'll cover today is the creative strategy that we use, also the ad structure we use, breaking down all the percentages of how much money we put into each stage, and then we will also cover the actual ad setup. So how we build out all of the retargeting ads to nurture our lead flow and get them re-engaged. So to start out, this is one of our clients that we work with. He has 37,000 followers on Instagram, and he has a bunch of videos on here that go viral, and to most people they feel like all they need is to have viral videos in order to book out their schedule. This is a perfect example of showing that you can post videos that get a ton of views, but it's not going to book out your schedule, because majority of this content is top of funnel content, meaning it's top of funnel, it educates people a little bit on who you are and what services you offer, but it doesn't provide any of the information that your prospects need to know in order to get them to convert. The only people that it will convert are the ones who are already pre-sold on ceramic coatings or whatever service they're looking for, but they're just looking for the right person to do it. That's the only people you'll get to convert from posting top of funnel viral content. So this client, he was making about $8,000 to $10,000 a month. He's an owner operator, so it's just him. So you do kind of cap yourself out to an extent if you're focusing on low ticket services. So he started working with us so that way we could push for higher ticket services and also book out his schedule a little bit more. So being able to take advantage of all the views and all the profile visits he has, but implement a retargeting strategy to get a lot of those views to convert into paying customers, and also rebrand everything to be able to attract more ceramic coating clients. So that's kind of what our whole creative strategy and ad strategy is tailored around. So to go into the ad account, what most people do is they'll run one campaign or at most maybe two different campaigns. But in most cases, a lot of their traffic is just going out and targeting cold traffic. So what happens is you run an ad, people come across your ad for the first time, catches their attention, they reach out, try to get information. 5 minutes later, you're on the phone trying to sell them when they don't even know who you are. They don't know what services you offer. They don't know the benefits of the services. They don't know why it's worth the price that you charge. There's no trust built up, no credibility built up, no value built up. So it becomes very difficult to get people to answer the phone and get people to actually close when you're on the phone. So what we do is we funnel people through content, so that way the content can pre-sell for us and pre-qualify those leads. So that way once we're on a sales call, they're more educated on all the services we offer, the benefits of the services, the pricing, the value, everything that we need them to know in order to get them to say yes on that initial sales call. So right here, you can see we have one campaign running for this client. This is what majority of people do, is they just run this one campaign. And in most cases, this one campaign is pushing for a lead. So for us, all we're doing right now is trying to build up a retargeting audience. So all of these ads that we're running here, we have 5 different creatives. None of these are pushing for an actual lead. All of these are just educating people on our services, planting a seed around the pricing of our services, planting a seed around the kinds of cars that we work on, so that way it can resonate with our ICP. And the ICP is the top 20% of our market. So the highest quality leads, the ones that are the easiest to close. That's who we want to attract with these videos. We're not pushing for a conversion yet. All we want to do is make it look like people naturally came across us on their page. So make it look like they organically came across us. What will happen is people are going to click on your page. They're going to view 95% of this video. Maybe they message you looking for a quote. All those things are triggering rounds of retargeting for us. And what most people do is they just let that go. They don't worry about any of the retargeting. They'll just spend more money on these top of funnel creatives and try and push for the volume game, meaning they have a lower cost per lead, more unqualified leads, but you can have 20 leads that come in per day, and then you have to sit there on the phone all day going through and calling the leads and spam calling them and following up with them every single day to try and get a couple responses and maybe get one deal closed here and there. What we'd rather do is let the content sell for us, so that we don't have to waste time on these sales calls. Instead, we can direct them to content. And then from there, as they go through the content, they get hit with the retargeting ads. Retargeting ads push for the actual lead flow. Then we get them on a sales call, and we can have maybe 5 calls, have 3 responses, and close 1 job from that. So way less time spent, more deals closed, easier sales process. That's our thought process with all this. So for the last few days, we've just been running top of funnel creatives, again, just to build up a retargeting audience. Technically, you don't really need to do it for this client just because he has 37,000 followers. But the reason we did it was because all of these videos were tailored more towards a higher ticket service. So instead of flooding his account with people interested in $200 services, $800 services, maintenance details, ceramic coating services, he wants to only attract more ceramic coatings. So the only videos we're pushing traffic to are videos that are talking about the price of our coatings, the benefits of coatings, talking about brand new cars like a 2025 Sequoia, I think this is, just to bring in a higher quality audience. So now he's had, like this video's brought in 467 people to visit his profile. These are all people, well, just off these, it started 3 conversations. This is without any sort of like retargeting ads where we're actually pushing for lead flow. So that's just naturally off top of funnel content. But this is now 467 people that'll get retargeted. And then we have 83 people here that get retargeted, 27 people, 41 people. All these people will start to get retargeted. But what we're going to do is start to condense this budget a little bit more. So what we're doing is we're running a test. We have our first stage. This is a test to see which creative brings in best quality lead flow and which one has the highest chance of doing well. So any ones that we see in here that aren't really getting much spend, or if our spend is too cheap, or cost per profile visit is too cheap, or if it's too expensive, we close or we turn those off. So this one, it has 2 profile visits. Most likely it's because this is more of a boring video. It's not as engaging as one like this, but this one does talk about like more information that's going to appeal to a higher quality audience. So we could technically turn this one off, or what we could do, just because these ones are way more engaging, is we could put it into a different ad set. So that way it can kind of get its own spend and we can compare the cost against the other ones. For now, what we'll do is we'll just keep these the same, especially because these just started running maybe 3 or 4 days ago. We'll keep these the same for now. And then in this video, we're just going to run through how we set up retargeting to pre-sell and pre-qualify our leads. So what we're going to do is set up our first round of retargeting, which is going to be a traffic campaign. And the goal with this campaign is just to build up our brand awareness. So once somebody knows a little bit of information about who we are, instead of them just forgetting about us the next day, we want to start showing them our content over and over and over again, like ingraining into their mind who we are, what our services are, what the benefits are, making sure that every time they open our phone, they see our content every single day. These are only going to be shown to people who have already shown us that they have some sort of interest in what we have to offer. So what we're going to do is retarget them with the same content here. We're going to set up a manual traffic ad, campaign name. This will be stage 2. And then if you need to reference how to set this up, I'll link this in the description of the video so that way you can see. This right here is how we set up all of our creatives. So top of funnel, stage 1 gets 15% of the budget, stage 2 gets 15% of the budget. What we'll do here is we're going to run this for now just because it's a test. We'll run this as a $50 a day ad spend. Eventually we'll bump it up to $70 a day, but for now we'll just do $50 a day. 15% would be $7.50 a day. And then even if you need to reference this here, so stage 1, this is general traffic. Stage 2, the targeting, these are going to retarget anybody who visited your Instagram profile in the last day, 10 days, 20 days, and 30 days. Also going to retarget people who viewed 95% of your Instagram reels. Now, it's important that you know which reels to pick, just because if you are selecting people who viewed 95% of a video talking about a $200 detail, then that's what you're going to attract. But if you're retargeting people who are viewing 95% of a video talking about an $800 ceramic coating, you're going to attract more people who are interested in that, so it'll bring in more qualified leads. So we'll name this one stage 2. Visitors and viewers. Ad set name, we'll do test. Or we'll just do and then we're going to direct traffic to Instagram and Facebook. And for now, we're only going to direct it to Instagram. And then our budget will be $7.50 per day. And then we're going to set this at midnight, or we'll do it today. We'll do it at 11:59. And this is when the actual retargeting starts to come into play. So we have the budget set, we have the start date set. What we're going to do is click further limit your reach. So that way we can go in and we can adjust all of this here. So location wise, you'll need to know your location, and then typically you'll set like a 15 or 20 mile radius around there. So right now we're setting up the visitors. So right here, we set up a custom audience where it'll retarget anybody who visits the page a day ago, 10 days ago, 20 days, or 30 days ago. We're going to deselect the use a suggestion. Otherwise, it's going to try and go out and target people outside of the targeting that we just set up. And then we're going to do custom audience, and we're going to click video. So this is the part where we can get like super detailed with who we're targeting. So people who viewed 95% of the video, and then we can go in, click the Instagram page. And then from here, we can go through and we can start to select different videos that we want to go through and retarget. So you can retarget people who are viewing ads. You can also retarget people who are viewing organic Instagram posts too. But all you'll do is just go through and you'll select the different videos that you want to add in. You can add in as many as you want too. And then when you're done, you'll just click confirm. So once you have the videos selected, again, you can add as many as you want. You could do 20 in here, you could do 5, you could do 18. It doesn't matter. It's up to you, whichever ones you think will be good. And then you can just name it 95% video viewers. Audience retention, I typically do 90 days, but you can adjust that to 30 days if you want. Hotter leads, all of it works. It just depends. So you'll kind of have to play around with it just to kind of test and see what does the best in your market. But then you'll do create audience, done. Make sure that you set up your location in there. Otherwise, what will happen is anybody who views the video from anywhere in the United States will get retargeted. So you want it to be local targeting only. And then demographics, you can keep the same languages. If you're English speaking, then I typically do English, US, just to condense it a little bit more. And then you have your audience set. So then from there, you can go down to placements, and then we can adjust the placements here. So like we're just going to do Instagram only. We do not want to let it go out and find other people. So we're just going to do Instagram only, search results, stories, feed, all that's good. And then we can click next. And then from here, this is where we're adding in the actual creatives. So what I typically do is I'll do the date. So today is June 2nd. And then you'll go through and then you'll just upload your ad creatives. So you can either set up the ads from videos you posted on Instagram, or you can upload them directly. Either one works for us. We already have them posted on Instagram, so we're just going to upload them directly from here. So at this point, we've duplicated all of the creatives that we had in stage 1. And now we're going to add all of these creatives into stage 2 as well. Again, main goal here is we want to build brand awareness. So we want people to see our creative one time, and then from there, anybody that shows interest, we want to continue to show them our content over and over and over again, so they get familiar with who we are, services we offer, benefit to those services, and everything like that. So we'll retarget them with the same exact content. Make sure when you're uploading content in here, always uncheck this box, and then make sure you only have one creative selected. Sometimes it'll try and throw in like 3 or 4 creatives, and then also make sure all of these Advantage Plus enhancements are turned off. You should always say 0 to 3, 0 to 4. For this one, just because this is like a traffic campaign, so we're pushing for Instagram profile visits, you're not going to have a CTA of like a DM or anything like that. So just go through, make sure that everything looks good in here. Make sure that's turned off, all these are off, and then from there, once it's good to go, then you can go back and then you can publish it, and then you have your first round of retargeting set. So this won't necessarily increase lead flow. This is just going to help people become more aware of who you are, the services that you offer, the benefits of the services. It's going to start to build up more trust, more credibility, all those things that we need to build a really strong brand and get people to be really familiar with who we are and what we offer. And again, this is going to start to dial it in a little bit more. Stage 1, this is general targeting. So it's going out and targeting everybody. Even those people who saw our ad but didn't take any actions, they're naturally going to get retargeted by that top of funnel creative. But then once people start to show a little bit of interest in what we have to offer, those are the people that we're going to want to dive deeper into and really make sure that we can condense our budget to go out and target more of those people over and over again to have the highest chance of nurturing them quick enough and turn them back into a lead. So that's what this first round of retargeting does. So now we're going to go in and introduce our third campaign. So this third campaign is our second round of retargeting. This is once we know that people have some interest, once they've seen us a few times, now we're going to go in and retarget them once they've been warmed up a little bit. And then from here, we're going to start to push for the lead. This is compatible to if you're trying to cold call somebody. Imagine cold calling somebody when they have no idea who you are, never talked to you before, and you call them and immediately you're trying to book a sales call with them on that first call. The chance of you doing that is probably pretty low just because they're not really educated on everything about what you have to offer. That's only going to resonate with the people who are really strong about what issues they struggle with and they know they need a solution and they're just looking for the right person to do it. So they're almost a little bit more desperate. That's who that market will hit, or that's the market that'll resonate with. So if you want to have a way higher response rate and a way higher conversion rate, typically you would send out a series of emails to people to warm them up about you, warm them up about your services before you go out and cold call them. Now for you, it's not really what's going to work in your market, but just an example. So the way that we run these ads, that's the same thing. We're warming them up first with stage 1 and stage 2 so they become familiar with us. We're not asking for anything yet. Once they become familiar with us and they show us that they have interest, then at that point, now we retarget them looking for an actual conversion. Again, if you need to reference who you're targeting here, you have the doc, which again is in the link in the description below. So our objective is to inform and start to generate lead flow. And then from here, targeting, we're going to go through and retarget people who started to follow our account. And also we're retargeting anybody that starts to engage with our profile. So anybody that's starting to DM us, save videos, like our page, comment on any of our posts, these are people that are showing a lot of interest. So we're going to want to go in and start to retarget all these prospects because they're showing us that they have a lot of interest in what we have to offer. So what we'll do, this is going to be 25% of our budget. We'll click create. A few different options. So you have awareness, traffic, engagement, leads. So we're typically pushing for engagement. We're going to do manual, continue. Stage 3, followers and engagers. We're doing ad set budget optimization. Click continue. Ad set name. So we're going to name this one follow and engage. Test. And then conversion location will be message destinations. And we're going to push for Instagram DMs. This one is going to be 25% of your budget. So if you're spending $50 a day, you would spend $12.50 per day. Again, this is just for your test. So as you start to scale up your spend, if your cost per lead is $22 and you want to generate 2 leads per day, then you'll have to spend about $45 per day to generate 2 leads a day off of that. Right now, you don't want to waste spend if you have a bad creative. So that's why we start a little bit lower. Typically, I recommend starting out at $70 a day just to have a little bit more money to disperse through all the creatives. But if you're doing 50 a day, it's still enough to test for the next 3 to 5 days. And then from there, whatever's starting to show some traction, we'll take those winning creatives and we'll start to scale those up every 3 days. So again, we'll put our start date as 11:59. And then for this, we're going to adjust the location. And then we're going to go in and create a custom audience where we're retargeting anybody who follows our Instagram page or starts to engage with our profile in the last day, 10 days, 30 days, 60 days, and we'll do 90 days as well. So at this point, we have the full audience built out. You'll notice the audience size, it's always going to be really small in the beginning just because you're still building up this retargeting audience. As you start running these for the next couple of months, this will start to build up, but it's always going to say narrow. It's perfectly fine. So you can just continue to run that. As far as placements, same thing. We're going to do manual placements here. Deselect Facebook, Instagram. We're going to do feed, stories, and then we're going to deselect this one here. Exclude placements, and then we'll click next. And this is when we get into the actual campaign or into the actual ads. So same thing, we'll do the date. And this is where we're going to start pushing for the actual lead. So a bunch of different ways that you can run middle of funnel creatives here. We have a few set up that we're going to implement here, but the goal is on providing information that people need to know in order to want to move forward. Things like pricing, benefits of the services, who the services are for, different things like that. And then at the end, you're not going to pitch an offer at this stage. It's more just information that would get people to buy. And then the next round of retargeting is where you could integrate things like an offer, testimonial videos, client reaction videos, everything like that. So I'm going to go through and then we'll set up a few different creatives here and then we'll jump into the next stage of retargeting. At this point, we have 3 creatives loaded up in here. So again, our goal with all 3 of these creatives is to provide more information that people need to know in order to build value on our services as to why our coatings are worth $1,000, $1,500, even $2,000, or providing information that they need to know about why they feel like it's urgent enough to get it done now. So leaning into things like issues they struggle with, benefits they're looking for, anything that would help build more value around the service to get them to want to pull the trigger now and reach out for a free quote. So what we did is we have 3 creatives loaded in here and we're going to let these run. So we'll publish them. We'll let these run for the next 3 days. We have a auto reply set up. So the keyword is ceramic. So it just says, hey, so-and-so, DM us ceramic to get a free quote on your vehicle. People will DM us the word ceramic. We'll take them through a DM script, then get them on a call from there. And that's where we'll close them, or we'll close them in the DMs. But at this point, we'll let these run. So we'll publish these and then we'll let them run for the next 3 days. After 3 days, we'll make our first round of revisions. We're going to turn off any creatives that aren't doing well, aren't hitting our KPIs as far as what our cost per lead should be. And then from there, we'll scale up the winning creatives and then we'll introduce a new test. So we'll test 3 new creatives about a week from today. Well, 7 to 10 days from today. And we'll repeat that process every week. So the goal is in 3 weeks, we'll have maybe 2 to 3 winning creatives per stage running. So that way we can layer them on top of each other and we can start to give them all their own ad spend. So if one of them has a $18 cost per lead, then we can spend $18 per day on that one creative starting out. It should hover around the $18 cost per lead metric or $18 cost per lead goal. If it stays steady around there, we'll start to increase the spend by 20% every 3 days. So we can gradually scale that up. Once it gets to the point to where it starts to fatigue, then we'll turn that creative off and then we'll let the new ones continue to run. And then anytime it breaks past the goal of typically $35 cost per lead, that's going to be at the point to where it's too expensive, to where it's not profitable, and then we'll turn it off. So at this point, we have stage 1, which generates the leads. We have stage 2, which starts to build up the brand awareness. We have stage 3 that starts to trigger the actual lead flow. The last thing that we're missing is at this point, we're going to have plenty of leads that come in. Some of them are going to be super interested and ready to close. Some of them are still going to need a little convincing, or maybe they need to build up a little bit more trust or feel like you are the right fit for the job. So if that's the case, what we need to do is first have an ICP form that we can send out to all of our prospects that'll basically figure out what their buying cycle looks like. So an ICP form is something that people fill out to where it tells us their buying cycle, how they find out about us, what they were struggling with, what they wanted fixed, why they bought from us specifically, what would have made them purchase sooner, everything we need to know about what made them buy from us in particular. And then from there, all we're doing is looking at the data from the top 20% of our market. So the highest quality leads, the ones that are the easiest to close, have the nicest cars, the best to work with. We want to see what their buying cycle looked like. So that way we know what the pain points of the top 20% of our market struggle with, so we can talk to them specifically. Because somebody who's a really low quality lead could resonate with a pain point of them not wanting to have to go out and detail their car every week because they get tired of detailing it. That's something that typically a lot of lower quality people will do, or like lower quality prospects. They want to wash their own car to save time and save money, versus a really high quality lead. They're working all throughout the day. They're busy. They don't feel like washing their car. They don't have the time to do it. So what they're looking for is a way to make their life easier, have more preventative maintenance. So that way they don't have to worry about any of these issues. Maybe not having to worry about scheduling details every week with a mobile detailer, and instead having a ceramic coating applied to their car so they can just schedule it once a month instead, and it makes their life a little bit more convenient. So the pain points and the reasons why your high quality leads are buying from you are always going to be different from your low quality leads. So if you can eventually figure out what makes your highest quality leads buy from you, that's exactly who you talk to in your content. So you talk about those pain points and those benefits and those objections and everything in your content. So for the last round of retargeting, what we're doing is basically going through and we want to retarget any of those people who've shown interest, who've reached out, who've followed our account, who have some sort of interest, but just haven't pulled the trigger to book yet. So what we're going to do is retarget this same audience here. We're retargeting the people who followed our account and the people who engage with our profile. So the easiest thing to do is you can just duplicate this ad set here, or we can just duplicate this campaign. We'll turn off the recommendations We'll click continue. We'll click duplicate. And then we're going to switch this to stage 4. Same thing, engagement, ad set. Then we're going to go down to the actual ad set level, make sure Instagram is selected, follow and engage test. So typically for stage 4, this is going to be a smaller percent of our budget. Again, if we go back to the document in here, bottom of funnel will be 25%, and you'd actually have 2 more stages. So you'd have this one here, which would be stage 4, which is an offer video. And then this one down here would be stage 5, which is like testimonial videos, client reaction videos, expectation videos, anything to help people who are like really on the fence of moving forward. In this situation, I don't have offer videos from this client we're working with. So we're just going to run a stage 4 campaign. So we're going to slightly adjust our budgeting here. So it may not be the exact same as yours. So just reference the doc in the description below. So we're just going to run stage 4. And for us, since we don't have an offer video, we're going to run a client reaction videos, especially because those are doing really well for us and a lot of our clients right now. So just make sure that your budget correlates the Google Doc that you have breaking down the budget. This one will be a little bit different. So we have our budget set for these campaigns, and then going into stage 3, or for stage 4, the targeting is going to be the exact same as stage 3. Manual placements, this will all be the same. The only difference is going to be the creatives that you use here. So all you'll have to do is just switch your creatives and then click publish. And then from there, the ads will be set to go live. Now at that point, you'll have 4 different campaigns, all have different purposes. Stage 1 is meant to go out, pique people's interest, plant the seed, just educate them a little bit about who you are, what services you offer, what the benefits of the services are. You can have different qualification triggers in those videos as well. And that's how you'll run a creative that'll attract high quality leads versus low quality leads. So typically over the next 4 weeks, you'll have to play around with the creatives and figure out the messaging that works the best and the creatives that work the best, and then double down on those. So you have stage 1, stage 2 will be the exact same creatives. Stage 3 is where you'll push for your first round of actual lead flow. And then stage 4 is for those prospects who are interested, showing interest, but not ready to move forward yet. So you need something that's meant to help them pull the trigger if they're on the fence. Something like an offer video, client reaction video, testimonial videos, different things like that. So if you want help implementing a strategy like this into your shop, we offer ad services. We also offer consulting where we'll work with you for the next 90 days and teach you how to implement a system like this. If you want help, I'll link my Instagram in the description below. Just DM me the word grow on Instagram and we'll send over a few questions just to kind of get an idea of your situation, see kind of what route would work the best for you. And we'll jump on a call from there to figure out what your shop needs. Besides that, if you have any other questions, just reach out to me on Instagram and I can get back to you there.